Lin Moyu ascended the mountain, heading towards the peak where the Kunlun Divine Palace stood. The raging winds carried the sound of wind chimes to his ears once more. This time, Lin Moyu was prepared, tightening his soul force to avoid being influenced by external forces. The 9-colored dragon soul crystal spun around his soul, also on high alert, guarding his mind, undisturbed by external influences. 642. Chapter 642. When you can master the laws. The sound of wind chimes was beautiful and melodious, constantly ringing in Lin Moyu's ears. Even if Lin Moyu blocked his hearing, it was useless. He could still hear it. The sound would directly penetrate the soul. This was the sound of the laws, and it didn't need ears to be heard. Just like the bloodiness in the primordial secret realm, it reached directly to the soul. Lin Moyu could only resist with all his might, not letting it affect him. He had already been ambushed once before. Although the other party had no ill intentions, that feeling of being out of control was truly unpleasant. At that time, Lin Moyu's fighting spirit surged, and he only wanted to throw himself into battle. If this sound were used in the army, it could greatly increase the army's combat power, making every soldier full of fighting spirit. But if used on oneself, it could make one lose reason, even becoming a puppet that only knew how to fight. Everything has two sides, and Lin Moyu was good at analyzing and enjoyed analyzing, considering all aspects of the problem. Because of this, Lin Moyu preferred to remain calm at all times. Since his debut, there had been very few things that could make him panic. The closer he got to the Kunlun Divine Palace, the stronger the sound of the wind chimes became. However, Lin Moyu knew that although the sound of the wind chimes carried the power of the laws, as long as one's will was strong enough, even a level 40 person could resist it. The owner of the wind chimes had no ill intentions. A distance of 1,000 meters was not far for Lin Moyu. In the blink of an eye, he had reached the top. Standing at the peak, he could see the Kunlun Divine Palace more clearly. This was a large palace with a diameter of over 1,000 meters, and from a distance, one could see the exquisite carvings on the outside of the palace. The wind and snow acted as the best cleaners, keeping the palace exceptionally clean, free of dust. The entire palace was connected to the mountain peak at only one corner, with 99% of it suspended in the air, like a floating divine palace. Lin Moyu walked over with curiosity, and there was a plaque hanging on the gate of the divine palace, with the words,
Kunlun,
written on it. It was written in the script of the Xinxia Empire. When Lin Moyu saw the words,
Kunlun,
he confirmed that this was a product of the current era. The text was the best evidence. Lin Moyu looked at the two words, feeling the aura on them. Even after a long time, the aura on them was still strong.
The text carries a strong divine aura. This is a powerful deity. Much stronger than the god of thunder, it should be a high-level deity. According to records, there were many high-level deities a long time ago, but later they all disappeared for some reason.
There were not many recorded high-level deities, such as the god of blood and the god of life. There were more deities not recorded in the data. For example, the god of the stars was not in the records, but Lin Moyu guessed from the countless meteorites that had been falling on the meteorite continent for many years that the god of the stars should not be weak. The god of blood had disappeared. Even his weapon was gone, so he should have fallen without a doubt. The god of life was the same, and his weapon even triggered an apocalyptic war. The current owner of the Kunlun Divine Palace should also be a high-level deity. The wind chimes were the best evidence. The power of the laws could not be faked.
What exactly happened back then? I really want to find out.
This question had troubled Lin Moyu for many days, but he did not hesitate and walked towards the gate. He was not afraid, nor worried. Worry and fear were useless. Now he had only two choices. One was to enter the Kunlun Divine Palace, and the other was to leave. Having come this far, how could he be willing to leave? With Antares' dragon scale in hand, he believed there were not many places in this world that could trap him. At worst, he could activate the dragon scale and escape. The gate of the Divine Palace opened automatically, welcoming him like a guest. The inside of the palace was even more spacious than it looked from the outside. Upon entering, there was a huge garden with many trees swaying in the wind and snow. But strangely, no matter how heavy the snow, it left no trace on them. Every corner of the palace was exceptionally clean. The garden was arranged in a very orderly manner, neat yet not lacking in beauty.
This is a deity who loves cleanliness, perhaps even has a cleanliness obsession. Moreover, this deity is very likely a female.
The sound of the wind chimes was even stronger here. A gust of wind blew, and the chimes rang incessantly. Wind chimes were hanging all over the garden, on the trees and in every corner. The key was that the sound of these wind chimes, when combined, did not seem chaotic at all. But now, the sound of the wind chimes was just the pure sound of wind chimes, no longer carrying the power of the laws that reached the soul. Lin Moyu was even more convinced that this should be a female deity, and one who liked cleanliness and wind chimes. Just as he was thinking, a light shone, making the entire garden beautiful. In the light, a man in a robe walked slowly. Lin Moyu was stunned. He had guessed wrong. It was actually a man. Lin Moyu saw that the man was not in his true form but was composed of elements. However, he was undoubtedly a deity, exuding the unique aura of a deity.
Hello, 5-star general of the human race.
The deity was very polite to Lin Moyu, immediately revealing Lin Moyu's identity as a 5-star general, which surprised Lin Moyu. He hadn't worn his military badge on his shoulder, so how did the other party know? The deity continued,
Don't be surprised. I have fought alongside many 5-star generals of your human race and am very familiar with their aura. Let me introduce myself. I am Kunlun, the great deity of the Kunlun Mountains.
This time, Lin Moyu was truly shocked. He looked at him in amazement. He was actually a great deity. A great deity was a level higher than a high-level deity, equivalent to a half-step super-deity in the human race. He hadn't expected such an existence in the Kunlun Divine Palace. He had underestimated him. Lin Moyu did not doubt the other party's identity and said,
Human race, 5-star general, Lin Moyu, greets the great deity Kunlun.
Kunlun suddenly made a gesture of invitation.
My true form is still asleep, and there's nothing here to entertain you, so let me show you around the Divine Palace. Please don't mind.
Lin Moyu dared not mind. He had many questions he wanted to ask the great deity Kunlun. Your true form is asleep, that has nothing to do with me, as long as you can talk. However, Lin Moyu did not speak directly. They were not familiar yet, and he had not figured out the other party's temperament. Speaking rashly was not good. The great deity Kunlun led Lin Moyu towards the interior of the Divine Palace.
Your strength is beyond my expectations.
Lin Moyu responded modestly.
My strength is nothing.
Kunlun shook his head.
No, even in those days, you would have been one of the most outstanding.
Lin Moyu pondered over
those days.
He mentioned, wondering which era it was. It must have been a long time ago, at least 1,000 years. Perhaps those years buried by time. Kunlun continued.
In our era, geniuses were everywhere. As long as you weren't an idiot, you could become a top professional. With slightly better aptitude, you could become a deity. From job change to deity level, the fastest only took 1 or 2 years.
Lin Moyu listened as if hearing a myth. From job change to deity level in just 1 or 2 years. Was this a joke?
How could it be so fast?
Lin Moyu found it hard to believe. Kunlun chuckled.
There was a price to pay. We paid too much, and this world paid too much. The price was so great that it was almost unbearable. But we had no choice.
Lin Moyu listened silently. The price must have been terrifying and unimaginable. Kunlun suddenly stopped, looking at the snow in the sky, and sighed deeply.
But it was worth it.
A gentle breeze blew, and the melodious sound of wind chimes rang again. Kunlun smiled.
Isn't it beautiful?
Lin Moyu nodded.
A wonderful melody.
He spoke sincerely and honestly.
Indeed, it's beautiful. I've listened to it for so many years and never tired of it. Did you think I was a woman just now?
Lin Moyu's mouth twitched, not responding. This was a question he couldn't answer. Saying the wrong thing could offend. Kunlun said,
It's okay, everyone thinks so. The garden was arranged by my wife, and the wind chimes were hung by her. She loved wind chimes, loved them very much. Unfortunately, she can no longer hear them.
Saying this, Kunlun sighed again. Lin Moyu thought for a moment and cautiously asked,
The Great War back then was very cruel, wasn't it?
Kunlun turned to look at Lin Moyu, staring for a moment.
It seems you know something. I know you have many questions, including about the formation in the Kunlun Mountains. Don't doubt I've been watching you since the day you entered the instance. I even saw you kill the Kunlun snow god. But I can't tell you now.
Lin Moyu asked,
Is it because I'm still too weak?
Kunlun nodded.
You have great talent, but you're not strong enough yet. Then when will I be qualified to know? When you can master a law.
Lin Moyu's heart trembled, and he slowly uttered 4 words.
Half-step super deity.
643, 643. Chapter 643. Hard to say, depends on the situation. Everyone has a different perspective, and the world they see is also different. When Lin Moyu first changed his profession, achieving a 3rd transition was already considered top-notch. After encountering Bai Yuan, he realized that becoming a god-level professional was the real goal. Now, he needs to master the laws and become a half-step super deity to be qualified to know the ancient secrets. For most professionals, reaching god level is already an unattainable goal, and half-step super deity is something they don't even dare to think about. But for Lin Moyu, half-step super deity is not enough, far from enough. The old man who seemed to be
Lozi
hoped that Lin Moyu could become the leader of this era. What is an era leader? Even becoming a super deity might not be enough, so what is a half-step super deity? It can only be said that the Kunlun great deity in front of him is far inferior in perspective compared to the old man in the primordial secret realm.
Is it enough to be qualified as a half-step super deity?
Lin Moyu said softly. This made the Kunlun great deity raise his eyebrows slightly. His expression remained gentle, but now he felt that Lin Moyu was somewhat arrogant. The Kunlun great deity did not reprimand Lin Moyu, but his tone became slightly lower.
Mastering the laws is very difficult. Don't take it too lightly. Even in our time, when the laws were apparent, very few could master them.
Lin Moyu naturally knew that mastering the laws was not easy, but he was confident.
I will achieve it.
The Kunlun great deity looked at Lin Moyu, deep in thought. In his eyes, Lin Moyu was somewhat arrogant and did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. If half-step super deity were so easy, why has there only been one half-step super deity in the human world in nearly 100 years? Moreover, there have only been a few half-step super deities in history, and sometimes there were gaps. The Kunlun great deity's memory surged. Even in his era, half-step super deities were not many. He slowly spoke.
Confidence is good, but don't be arrogant.
Lin Moyu nodded.
I understand.
Lin Moyu's attitude was neither humble nor arrogant. Having seen many powerful beings, although a great deity was worthy of respect, there was no need to be overly flattering. Moreover, this was just a great deity whose true form was asleep, and it was unknown when he would wake up. His mindset had unconsciously changed. The Kunlun great deity said nothing more and changed the topic.
You have passed the final test of the instance, and I want to ask you to do something for me.
Lin Moyu knew that the main event had arrived.
Please tell me, what do you need me to do?
Lin Moyu did not agree immediately. He wanted to hear what it was first before deciding whether to agree. If it was something dangerous, Lin Moyu would definitely refuse. The Kunlun great deity said in a deep voice,
Before I tell you, I want to ask, can I trust you?
Lin Moyu spoke honestly.
Hard to say, depends on the situation. For example, if what you ask me to do is very dangerous and might endanger my life. or if what you asked me to do might harm the human race.
Lin Moyu listed two possibilities. The first one was fine. Lin Moyu would just refuse. In the second case, Lin Moyu would not only refuse but might also take some drastic actions. The true form of the Kunlun great deity was asleep, and it was hard to say how much divine power this elemental body could exert. In fact, bringing Lin Moyu into the Kunlun divine palace was a risk for the Kunlun great deity. If Lin Moyu had any malicious intent, it was hard to say what might happen. Lin Moyu's combat power was not weak. He had slaughtered gods and many god-level experts. The 5-star general title was not for show. Similarly, Lin Moyu was also taking a risk by entering the Kunlun divine palace. What if the Kunlun great deity had any malicious intent towards him? After all, this was a great deity. Of course, Lin Moyu never fought a battle he wasn't confident in. With Antares' dragon scale in hand, he believed his safety was not an issue. In essence, both sides were taking a gamble. They had already established the most basic trust. Lin Moyu's tone was sincere, and the Kunlun great deity could understand. The more sincere he was, the more at ease the Kunlun great deity felt. If Lin Moyu had agreed immediately, he would have been more worried. He showed a slight smile.
Rest assured, what I want you to do will not harm the human race. After all, I was once a comrade in arms with your human race, a life and death friend.
He emphasized the words,
Life and death friend.
His eyes showing a hint of nostalgia, as if reminiscing about the past. He continued,
As for danger, it might be a life and death situation for others, but for someone with your combat power, it would at most be a bit troublesome.
He was well aware of Lin Moyu's combat power, capable of counterattacking and slaughtering gods, a 5-star general. Although Lin Moyu was only level 74, sometimes combat power couldn't be judged by level. Someone like Lin Moyu would have been called a monster in their era, a genius even more talented than prodigies.
I want to hear the specifics.
Lin Moyu said directly. The Kunlun great deity did not continue to beat around the bush.
I hope you can go to the lower layer of the ancient battlefield, beneath the wild continent, and retrieve something for me.
Lin Moyu asked.
The Azure Dragon Sea?
The Kunlun great deity nodded.
That's right. What do you need me to retrieve? My wife's divine core.
Lin Moyu looked at the Kunlun great deity.
Your wife's divine core is at the bottom of the Azure Dragon Sea?
The Kunlun great deity smiled bitterly.
Back then, she fought to the death, and her divine core fell into the Azure Dragon Sea, sinking to the bottom. Retrieving her divine core is something I've always wanted to do. But it's too difficult. Even an 89-level half-step deity couldn't do it. I've waited for so many years, and finally, I've waited for you.
The Kunlun great deity's tone was somewhat sorrowful, and his eyes were filled with sadness that was hard to suppress. Lin Moyu could feel the sincerity in his voice, and he was not lying. The Kunlun great deity continued.
My wife and I are different from other gods. We did not become gods naturally but became gods by chance. Before becoming gods, we were also human.
Lin Moyu was shocked. The Kunlun great deity actually said that he was human before becoming a god. No wonder he said he fought alongside humans back then. This might be one of the reasons. The Kunlun great deity had not finished speaking. At this moment, he seemed like an old man wanting to confide.
Perhaps the god of life also perished. If she was still around, my wife might have had a chance to be resurrected. Although I can't resurrect my wife, retrieving her divine core is something I, as her husband, should do. This is also the only thing I can do for her now.
His memories were mixed with sadness, coloring the entire Kunlun divine palace. The sound of wind chimes floated, playing a sad melody. Lin Moyu said in a deep voice,
The sea is vast, and finding a divine core is like finding a needle in a haystack. It's not easy.
The Kunlun great deity slowly extended his hand, and all the wind chimes vibrated in unison. Then Lin Moyu saw a huge, exquisite wind chime fall from the sky. The wind chime carried the aura of a god and was filled with the power of laws. When it first appeared, it was as large as a bronze bell, but when it fell into the Kunlun great deity's hand, it was only the size of a fist. Lin Moyu recognized it as the wind chime hanging outside the Kunlun divine palace. The Kunlun great deity looked at the wind chime, his eyes full of memories. Lin Moyu took the wind chime from the Kunlun great deity's hand and immediately cast a detection spell on it. Holy Sound Wind Chime. Mythical weapon. Weapon of the god of Holy Sound. Possessing a mythical weapon, the weapon contained the power of laws. The god of Holy Sound, the wife of the Kunlun great deity, was also a high-level deity. Whether she was level 96 or 98, Lin Moyu did not know. But a high-level deity was undoubtedly very powerful. At least her power of laws was not something he could currently contend with. Such a deity had also fallen. The disaster of that year, the fall of the gods. No one knew what had happened. Lin Moyu held the Holy Sound Wind Chime. He could not use this weapon. To him, it was just a sturdy and exquisite ordinary wind chime.
I can help you with this, but everything should be reciprocal. What is the reward?
Lin Moyu asked. The Kunlun great deity said,
You obtained a Kunlun snow grass in the initial instance, right?
Kunlun snowgrass. Extra reward from the Kunlun Divine Palace instance. Initial. Level. Kunlun snowgrass could directly increase one's level, with extraordinary effects. When he first obtained the Kunlun snowgrass, he was amazed, never imagining that there was such a magical thing in the world. Now his vision and experience were different. Looking back, he realized that the Kunlun snowgrass contained immense soul power. It was the soul power that increased the level. After obtaining it, Lin Moyu had never used it. Increasing his level was not very useful to him. He could level up just by spending some time. It was not difficult and did not require relying on external objects. The Kunlun great deity pointed to a flower bed in the distance.
That is your reward.
644, 644. Chapter 644. This time, no experience grinding, only equipment grinding. Each plant was full of vitality, and within that vitality was a familiar aura. This vitality came from the power of life, which in turn came from the formation outside the instance, from the large number of human professionals who came to the Kunlun Mountains. The Kunlun great deity pointed casually, and a formation appeared outside the flower bed. Strands of life force came from the void into the formation, where the power of the laws converted it, removing impurities and leaving only the essence, which was then poured into the flower bed to become the nourishment for the Kunlun snowgrass.
So, the life force ended up here.
Lin Moyu then realized that he had previously misunderstood. The life force absorbed by the formation was not taken by the Kunlun great deity. Instead, it came here and became the nourishment for the Kunlun snowgrass. The Kunlun great deity said,
You must have thought that the life force was absorbed by me, right?
Lin Moyu admitted frankly,
Yes. I judged from the absorbed life force that there must be a deity in slumber.
The Kunlun great deity chuckled.
Your judgment is correct. My true form is indeed in slumber, and has been for a long time. When I will wake up, even I don't know. These life forces are of little use to me. And what you see is just the tip of the iceberg. Not only the formations on the peaks of the Kunlun Mountains, but the entire Kunlun mountain range is filled with numerous formations. The life force absorbed is not just from the professionals, but from all living beings in the Kunlun Mountains, including plants. Their life force is also continuously being absorbed. However, this level of absorption does not harm them in any way.
Lin Moyu understood this principle. Even if the life force was not absorbed by the formation, it would silently dissipate and eventually disappear. The formation merely gathered this excess life force to cultivate the Kunlun snowgrass. In the flower bed, the Kunlun snowgrass varied in height and size. Among them, one particularly robust plant stood out, towering over the other Kunlun snowgrass by more than 3 times. Truly the king of the snowgrass. Lin Moyu asked,
Is the Kunlun snowgrass useful to you?
The Kunlun great deity shook his head.
No, the Kunlun snow grass is not prepared for us.
The implication was clear. Since it was not for the deities, it must be for the humans. However, among the humans, no one had ever heard of anyone obtaining the Kunlun snow grass. Lin Moyu was the first to get it. The Kunlun great deity explained,
These things were very useful in the past, and perhaps they will be useful in the future, but I hope they will never need to be used. This 1 in a million snow grass king is my reward to you. If you can retrieve my wife's divine core, I will give you the snow grass king in exchange.
Lin Moyu asked.
What is the use of the snow grass king?
He did not use a detection spell to check it, partly because it would be impolite in front of the Kunlun great deity. Secondly, the flower bed was covered by a formation, and Lin Moyu was not sure if the detection spell would work. The Kunlun great deity said,
If you want to break through to a half-step super deity in the future, the snow grass king will be of great use. In addition, the snow grass king has another function. I will tell you after you bring back the divine core.
Lin Moyu thought for a few seconds and made a decision in his heart.
All right.
In the end, Lin Moyu agreed to the Kunlun great deity's request. It was a request, but it was also a transaction. However, the Kunlun great deity was very polite to Lin Moyu, as he needed his help. Otherwise, given his status, he would not need to be so courteous to Lin Moyu. After Lin Moyu left the instance, the Kunlun divine palace once again disappeared into the wind and snow. The wind howled, and the Kunlun great deity stood in the garden, murmuring,
After waiting for so many years, finally someone has come. I hope he can succeed. Ener, I miss you so much.
His voice was eventually drowned out by the wind and snow, disappearing without a trace. Outside the instance, there was no one, only the howling wind, making it extremely quiet. The Kunlun Divine Palace, a high-level instance, was located at the peak of the Kunlun Mountains in the eyes of most people. But Lin Moyu knew that this was far from the peak. The true peak was within the instance, another 1,000 meters up. The place where the Kunlun Divine Palace was located was the peak. Moreover, it could be imagined that the Kunlun Divine Palace was not originally on the ground but should have been floating in the air. It descended because the Kunlun great deity fell into slumber. The feeling of entering the Kunlun Divine Palace just now was still fresh in his mind. Upon careful reflection, he realized that the Kunlun Divine Palace itself was a powerful weapon, extremely formidable. He was also bold enough. If the Kunlun great deity had any malicious intent towards him, the trouble would not be small. Lin Moyu did not immediately set off for the ancient battlefield. There was no rush. He and the Kunlun great deity did not set a time limit. After waiting for so many years, it did not matter if he waited a little longer. Lin Moyu planned to grind the instance first. Although the experience in the instance was not much, he could obtain a lot of equipment. These pieces of equipment were useless to him, but they were very useful to the entire human race. Meng Anwen and Bai Yuan both came from the military, and most of the army in the Xinxia Empire was under their control. With so many people and so many top professionals under their command, a large number of near-legendary equipment was urgently needed. Moreover, there was the Kunlun set. Lin Moyu also wanted to get a set for Meng Anwen and the others. If anyone in the world could collect a complete set of the same attribute Kunlun set, Lin Moyu knew it would be him. After resetting the instance cooldown, Lin Moyu teleported back into the instance. The moment he entered the instance, he was met with a fierce attack. The rules of the instance had not changed. It was still the same. For elemental fortresses and a large number of monsters over level 75 would launch a fierce attack on the instance entrant. This was the first wave of attacks. If one could not withstand this wave, there was no need to continue. Many professionals died in the first wave of attacks. It was not a game, it was real death. Their bodies would remain in the instance forever. In the human race, deaths in instances happened every day. But instances as cruel as the high-level Kunlun Divine Palace were rare. To gain rewards, one must pay a price. While people attacked instances to gain experience and equipment, Some instances also weeded out unqualified professionals. Statistics showed that the higher the level of the instance, the higher the difficulty, and the higher the death rate. Conversely, lower-level instances were relatively safe. Lin Moyu withstood the attacks, and the undead army responded. They quickly cleared the surrounding monsters, then shattered the shields of the 4 elemental fortresses and killed the commanders inside. When Lin Moyu saw the formation light balls in the second stage, he did not give them a chance to evolve into light snowmen. He directly summoned the Skeleton King and killed them with one strike. Then he opened the 4 channels and entered the third stage. Lin Moyu was always used to challenging higher levels. He was already confronting deities before reaching level 70. Instances of the same level were not difficult for him. Letting the undead army eliminate the monsters, Lin Moyu walked alone along the mountain path to the end of the third stage. This time, there was no formation to obstruct him. The end of the third stage was truly the end of the instance. Lin Moyu pressed against the invisible wall and could feel the power of the laws. Looking up, he saw nothing but void, and the Kunlun Divine Palace was not visible. He knew that this was normal the way most professionals saw the instance. With the roar of the elements, the Kunlun giant eagle descended from the sky. But it was met with the Skeleton King's giant bone sword. From start to finish, Lin Moyu did not lift a finger. The undead army and the Skeleton King easily cleared the instance. After killing the Kunlun giant eagle, the instance exit appeared. Lin Moyu did not hesitate and quickly left through the exit. The next second, he re-entered the instance and continued. Again and again, Lin Moyu repeatedly grinded the instance. Each time took less than half an hour. Since the appearance of the Kunlun Divine Palace instance, no one had ever grinded it like Lin Moyu. Each time, he obtained dozens of near-legendary equipment and 4 pieces of the Kunlun set. If it were someone else, they would definitely shout,
"I'm rich!"
Lin Moyu felt nothing, just grinding the instance over and over. In his storage space, various pieces of equipment increased rapidly. In just half a day, Lin Moyu had grinded the instance 20 times. He had obtained over 200 pieces of near-legendary equipment. Lin Moyu was really worried that if he continued grinding like this, he might empty the instance. Equipment could not be produced out of thin air. It had to come from somewhere. But all over the world, various instances produced equipment. What was the source of the equipment? Lin Moyu could not figure it out. He asked Antares, and the answer was,
"You are not qualified to know."
Antares clearly knew something but refused to tell him. As for the old man who seemed to be
Lozi,
Lin Moyu did not even dare to ask. Another huge mystery that he would have to solve himself in the future. 645. Chapter 645. How did you become a 5-star general? When Lin Moyu finished the 20th run of the instance, his storage space was officially full. Besides his own items, the storage space was filled with equipment and materials. There were a total of 80 pieces of the Kunlun set. As for whether he could assemble a complete set with the same attributes, Lin Moyu was too focused on running the instance to check. With no other choice, Lin Moyu decided to stop running the instance and return for now. At this moment, the instance's vortex lit up, and waves of spatial fluctuations emerged. A group of people was teleported out. Their uniforms were identical, and they were the same group Lin Moyu had seen while climbing the mountain earlier. Lin Moyu guessed that these people were likely from the military, given their coordinated actions and unique aura. Even the Jalan Guild's team couldn't achieve such uniformity. After they emerged, they were momentarily stunned before regaining their senses. Upon seeing Lin Moyu, they immediately became alert. Each person moved quickly, forming a battle formation. This further confirmed Lin Moyu's suspicion that they were indeed from the military. Other things can be faked, but such instinctive emergency responses cannot. Lin Moyu smiled and gestured to them to relax, indicating he had no ill intentions. The leader, with a commanding presence, took a few steps forward and asked in a deep voice,
"Excuse me, are you General Lin?"
Lin Moyu smiled, took out his military badge, and put it on. The purple badge with 5 stars was dazzling. Upon seeing it clearly, the leader was taken aback. His expression exaggerated and flustered, exclaiming loudly,
5-star General!
A gust of wind blew, bringing a chilling cold that made him cough uncontrollably. He suppressed his cough and saluted Lin Moyu.
Greetings, General Lin.
Lin Moyu smiled.
No need for that. I'm just a nominal general without an actual position in the military. Are you the instant strategy team from the military?
The leader shouted.
We are the 8th Military District's instant strategy team, 3rd Squad. I am the captain, Chi Tai-ju.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Well, not bad. How was your harvest this time?
The leader hesitated.
Reporting to General, I cannot say.
The military has its rules, and without permission, many things cannot be disclosed. Although Lin Moyu was a 5-star general, he was only nominally so, with no actual position or authority. Lin Moyu said,
All right, be careful. If you have the capability, you can try opening multiple channels. There will be more monsters, but the rewards will also double.
Chi Tai-ju said,
But opening 2 channels is too dangerous.
Lin Moyu glanced at the group. Not only were their actions coordinated, but their auras were also unified. They were all level 80 professionals. Coming from the military, their combat coordination was impeccable. Under Lin Moyu's gaze, each person stood straighter, exuding their strongest spirit. This was a 5-star general, a true big shot. Lin Moyu was very satisfied with them. Despite being level 80 top-tier professionals, none of them were arrogant. Lin Moyu said,
I think as long as you cooperate well, opening 2 channels simultaneously should be no problem.
Chi Tai-ju said,
Our levels are indeed sufficient, but our equipment is lacking. If each brother could get a full set of near-legendary equipment, we might have a chance.
The equipment they obtained might not necessarily be used by themselves. It needed to be distributed by the higher-ups to the appropriate people. That's the military for you. Lin Moyu thought for a moment.
Since we met by chance, I have some equipment from the instance. You can all come and pick what suits you.
As he spoke, Lin Moyu took out several pieces of near-legendary equipment. In an instant, the ground was covered with equipment, piled up like a small mountain. The accumulated snow was flattened, and the pure white snowy world was suddenly filled with colors. Everyone was stunned. This was what it meant to have equipment piled up like a mountain. Chi Tai-ju was once again shocked.
General Lin, did you get all this equipment from the instance? How long have you been running the instance?
Lin Moyu said,
Just half a day, 1 piece at a time, very quickly.
Chi Tai-ju was dumbfounded, and all the soldiers were so shocked they couldn't speak. What did he mean by 1 piece at a time very quickly? What did he mean by just half a day? They took nearly a day to run the instance once and could only get about 10 pieces of near-legendary equipment. Then they had to wait 10 days for the instance cooldown to end before running it again. A 24-person team couldn't all have high-level cooldown amulets. The equipment in front of them would take them 80 runs. At 10 days per run, it would take at least 800 days or more than 3 years. They would have to work hard for 3 years. But Lin Moyu only took half a day. Comparing oneself to others really could drive one mad. Chi Tai-ju was convinced. The reputation was well-deserved. No matter Lin Moyu's level, his strength was real. The reason Lin Moyu was willing to give them the equipment was that they belonged to the 8th Military District. The 8th Military District had another name, the 8th Fortress. It was under the influence of Bai Yuen and Meng Anwen. Anyone from the 8th Fortress was their trusted subordinate. So these were his own people. In the White God's courtyard, peace had returned. Meng Anwen, Bai Yuen, and Yen Guangxing sat together, drinking tea. Meng Anwen and Bai Yuen's promotion had ended half a day ago. They successfully reached level 96 with the laws integrated into their bodies, merging with their skills. From now on, they could wield the laws, greatly enhancing their skills. The next step was to integrate more laws into their skills, enhancing both the skills and themselves. As they could wield more laws, their strength would continue to increase, eventually comprehending the true essence of the laws and beginning to master them. Once they reached this level, they would become half-step superdeities. Yan Guangxing said,
Xiaoyu has been out for a long time. I wonder when he will return.
Bai Yuan sipped his tea.
The kid said we don't need to worry about his third transition. I wonder what he's up to.
Meng Anwen chuckled.
Don't worry about Xiaoyu. He will definitely succeed in his third transition. After all, he has that person with him.
Yan Guangxing sighed.
I never expected Xiaoyu to be able to talk to that person.
Bai Yuan said.
Indeed. Previously, only half-step superdeities in the human race had the qualification to speak with that person. Even at level 96, we don't have that qualification.
Yan Guangxing thought about his past foolish attempt to challenge Antares. In hindsight, he was lucky to have survived. Meng Anwen's eyebrows twitched.
Xiaoyu is back.
The three of them looked delighted. As soon as Meng Anwen finished speaking, spatial fluctuations appeared outside the courtyard. Someone had teleported there. Only a few people in the entire human race had the qualification to teleport directly to the White God's courtyard. They sensed Lin Moyu's presence and were all shocked. Meng Anwen whispered,
Xiaoyu has completed his third transition and...
Yan Guangxing, with his keen senses, added,
And he's very strong. I feel he's stronger than the average God-level professional. What method did Xiaoyu use to complete his third transition? What means did that person employ? The means of that person are beyond our comprehension. If Xiaoyu doesn't say, don't ask. Understood.
They were all experienced and knew what could and couldn't be asked. Lin Moyu hadn't been back to the White God's courtyard for a long time, and his eyes showed a hint of nostalgia. Although he had seen a broader world recently, returning to this familiar place brought warmth to his heart. Since his grandmother passed away and his sister embarked on her own path, this place was the warmest in his memory.
Teachers, I'm back.
Seeing the three familiar figures, Lin Moyu greeted them respectfully. He went up to serve tea to his three teachers. These three teachers genuinely cared for him without any selfish motives. Meng Anwen didn't say anything. Lin Moyu's safe return was enough. Yan Guangxing smiled.
Not bad, not bad. Xiaoyu not only completed his third transition but also made great progress in strength.
Bai Yuan also laughed heartily.
Kid, you didn't disappoint me.
Halfway through his sentence, he suddenly jumped up.
How did you become a 5-star general?
Meng Anwen then noticed the military badge on Lin Moyu's shoulder and said softly,
Xiaoyu, have some tea and tell us slowly.
Becoming a 5-star general must have involved a significant battle. They wondered what Lin Moyu had experienced. Although Lin Moyu's combat power couldn't be measured by his level, he was still only level 74. Facing God-level professionals, it was hard to believe he felt no pressure at all. 646, Chapter 646. Useless to others, very useful to me. Lin Moyu saw that the three of them had somewhat strange expressions and felt puzzled, not knowing what was going on. After he sat down, Bai Yuan unexpectedly poured him tea and asked,
Was it very dangerous at that time?
Yan Guangxing followed up on Bai Yuan's question.
Did they come one by one or all at once? Were they demons or dragons?
Lin Moyu replied,
They were dragons. 13 dragon kings came together. 12 low-level dragon kings and 1 mid-level dragon king.
Hiss! The three of them looked at each other. This lineup was not small. They naturally were not afraid, but if other god-level experts encountered them, they would either flee or die. Bai Yuan asked,
That battle must have been thrilling, right?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
Not dangerous at all. It only took 2 minutes.
Hiss! Another gasp. The three of them were even more incredulous. Meng Anwen seemed to realize something.
After your third transition, did your strength increase significantly?
Lin Moyu confirmed Meng Anwen's words.
Indeed, my actual combat power should be close to level 93 without using external items. If I use external items, killing a level 93 god-level expert is not difficult.
The external items Lin Moyu referred to were the solidified blood of the fire god and the fresh blood of the god of poison. As his strength continued to increase, he used these two methods less and less. However, Lin Moyu still had his strongest trump card, detonating the law god crystal of the thunder god and the corpse of the god of poison. Unless it was a last-ditch effort, Lin Moyu would not use them. Listening to Lin Moyu's explanation, the three of them realized they had misunderstood. The dragons really delivered military merits on a silver platter, directly promoting Lin Moyu from a 3-star general to a 5-star general. Bai Yuan looked at Meng Anwen.
Old Meng, you read a lot. Has our human race ever had someone who could easily kill god-level experts right after their third transition?
Meng Anwen looked at Bai Yuan as if he were an idiot.
Does this have anything to do with how much you read? If there were such a person, would you not know?
Yan Guangxing followed up.
Exactly, if there were such a person, our human race would have long since counterattacked the Abyss Dragon realm.
Being able to easily slaughter god-level experts at level 70 or so. Then when he becomes god-level or even half-step super deity, even true super deities might not be his match. The Demon Emperor of the Abyss, the Dragon Emperor of the Dragon Realm. They are only half-step super deities, far from reaching the level of super deities. Lin Moyu's ability to challenge across levels is truly terrifying. When Lin Moyu becomes a half-step super deity, he might really have a chance to lead the human race to counterattack the Abyss and the Dragon Realm. The three of them had a gleam in their eyes. Bai Yuan and Yan Guangxing were especially excited. Lin Moyu roughly guessed their thoughts. He had also had such thoughts. However, Zhang Yi once said, even if he became a super deity, he shouldn't think about destroying the Abyss and the Dragon Realm. There seemed to be some hidden truths unknown to outsiders. Thinking of the Emperor Di who had been in seclusion for 100 years, not asking about worldly matters, only guarding the human race. Now he had also gone to an unknown place. Only when one reaches their level can one understand why. Lin Moyu did not continue the conversation. Instead, he said,
Teacher, I ran the high-level Kunlun Divine Palace instance a few times and brought back some near-legendary equipment. I have no use for them.
Bai Yuan said,
The military also has teams specifically for the Kunlun Divine Palace. I went there when I was young. It is indeed a good place for equipment. Especially the Kunlun set. If you can get a complete set with the same attributes, it is indeed no worse than legendary equipment.
Yan Guangxing snorted.
What's the point of saying this? Who can get that equipment? The military has been running it for so many years, and only managed to gather 3 to 5 sets.
Bai Yuan said,
That stuff is not suitable for me.
Yan Guangxing said,
Not suitable for me either.
The military always had teams running the instance, and over the years they managed to gather a few sets. But those sets' attributes were not suitable for the two of them. Lin Moyu didn't say anything. With a thought, a large amount of equipment appeared on the open space outside the courtyard. Various types of equipment piled up like a mountain. Even Meng Anwen was somewhat shocked, sitting up straight. Bai Yuan held his head.
How many times did you run the instance?
Lin Moyu seriously said,
20 times.
Yan Guangxing was not sure.
Did you open 4 channels each time?
Lin Moyu nodded.
Yes. Then did you get 4 pieces of the Kunlun set each time?
His eyes suddenly lit up. 20 times, that would be 80 pieces of the Kunlun set. Even if they couldn't form a complete set, don't forget the military warehouse has some. Lin Moyu alone, in half a day, completed what an elite team accumulated over several years. This efficiency is too high. Lin Moyu took out the Kunlun set, another small mountain. The Kunlun set was obviously of higher grade, with more powerful energy, radiating freely when piled together.
Teacher, see if there is anything suitable. I will go run the instance again another day.
Running the instance was not difficult for him, not tiring at all. With just a thought, the undead army could clear it from start to finish. He mostly just walked around, took a stroll, and then collected the rewards. If it weren't for his storage space being full, Lin Moyu would probably still be running the instance in the Kunlun Divine Palace. Meng Anwen had no pursuit for the Kunlun set. He already had the Divine Summer Pagoda and didn't need any other equipment. Legendary equipment had a downside, which was exclusivity. Once you had legendary equipment, you couldn't use anything below legendary. So no matter how good the Kunlun set's attributes were, it had nothing to do with Meng Anwen, unless he was willing to give up the Divine Summer Pagoda. Bai Yiyuan and Yen Guangxing were different. Their eyes were shining as they picked through the pile of Kunlun sets, looking for suitable equipment. Forming a complete Kunlun set with the same attributes was a dream for many professionals. Even these two, despite being level 96 high-level god-level experts, were not immune to this desire. Lin Moyu poured a cup of tea for Meng Anwen.
Teacher Meng, I recently obtained a weapon left behind by a god, a mythical weapon.
Meng Anwen's eyebrows twitched.
Which god? The god of blood.
Lin Moyu took out the blood god disc and recounted what happened on the Wind and Thunder continent. Meng Anwen had heard of the god of blood. Although this god was not as famous as the gods of wind, fire, and water, its power far exceeded them. It was a truly high-level god. A high-level god's weapon must be a mythical weapon, containing the power of laws. Moreover, such a weapon would never leave the god's side. The blood god disc was first obtained by Feng Hua, and now it had fallen into Lin Moyu's hands, indicating that the god of blood had indeed fallen. Lin Moyu said,
It seems that our human race cannot use the weapons of gods.
Antares had told him this, and Lin Moyu could only choose to believe it. However, now that Meng Anwen had also reached high-level god status, perhaps he could gain some insights by studying the blood god disc. Understanding one law can lead to understanding many. Meng Anwen took the blood god disc, carefully sensing it for a moment, then pointed with his finger, and the Divine Summer Pagoda appeared in midair. The Divine Summer Pagoda emitted a stream of light, enveloping the blood god disc. Under Meng Anwen's control, the Divine Summer Pagoda kept rotating, and numerous runes appeared within the stream of light. Lin Moyu knew that Meng Anwen was analyzing the blood god disc. This was one of the abilities of an alchemist. Meng Anwen was a dual-profession god, both an alchemist and a formation master. The two professions were independent yet complemented each other, greatly enhancing Meng Anwen's strength. Boom! A loud noise like thunder. The Divine Summer Pagoda suddenly shook violently, then was flung far away, disappearing into the sky. The blood god disc glowed faintly red, its surface like flowing blood. Meng Anwen did not care about the flying Divine Summer Pagoda. It had his soul imprint, and he could summon it back with a thought. Meng Anwen said in a low voice,
As expected of a mythical weapon, it carries the power of laws, extremely powerful.
Even without anyone controlling it, it could shake off the Divine Summer Pagoda. The blood god disc was indeed powerful. Lin Moyu asked,
Is this thing useful?
Meng Anwen smiled.
To others, it is indeed useless. But to me, it is very useful. The Divine Summer Pagoda is a special legendary equipment, inherently malleable, with the potential to become a mythical equipment, just lacking an opportunity. Now the opportunity has come. I can slowly analyze the structure of the blood god disc, especially its internal laws, and the Divine Summer Pagoda can simulate and arrange them with formations. Eventually, the Divine Summer Pagoda can also be upgraded to mythical equipment.
Meng Anwen was a bit excited. In the human race, legendary equipment was extremely rare. Mythical weapons and equipment were even rarer. If the Divine Summer Pagoda could become mythical equipment, it would indeed be a great boon for the human race. Judging by Meng Anwen's expression, he seemed quite confident. Meng Anwen smiled, and so did Lin Moyu. He was happy to help Meng Anwen. Then Lin Moyu said,
Teacher, I need to trouble you again to send me to the lower space.
Meng Anwen asked curiously,
Didn't you just come back from there?
Lin Moyu sighed.
There are still some matters to attend to. I made a deal with someone and need to complete it.
Meng Anwen didn't ask further, knowing Lin Moyu must have his reasons. With a thought, the Divine Summer Pagoda was summoned from afar. Then a teleportation formation appeared in the air. 647, 647. Chapter 647. The center of the lower realm terrifying vortex. Until Lin Moyu left, it was only then that Bai Yuan and Yen Guangxing raised their heads from the pile of Kunlun sets. Bai Yuan asked curiously,
Xiao Yu just came back. Why did he leave again?
Meng Anwen casually said,
He said he had a deal to complete. I don't know who it was with.
Yen Guangxing said,
This kid, can't he rest for a bit?
Bai Yuan said impatiently,
You didn't rest much when you were young either. Put down that bracelet, I saw it first.
Yen Guangxing shouted,
Screw off, I clearly saw it first. When did it become your turn?
Bai Yuan was unwilling to concede.
I'm only missing 3 pieces from my set.
Yen Guangxing immediately retaliated, not giving him any face.
I'm only missing 2 pieces. You were too slow, blame yourself. Say another word and I'll cut you down with my blade. I'll punch you into the ground.
The two of them bickered back and forth, neither willing to yield. Meng Anwen let out a light laugh. These two had long been accustomed to fighting and making a ruckus like little kids. They were already old, but every day without an argument just didn't feel right. After seeing Lin Moyu off, he sent the blood god disc into the divine summer pagoda to carefully study and analyze it. He lazily lay on the chair, like a couch potato. His mind had already entered the divine summer pagoda, beginning to analyze every detail of the blood god disc. Having just gained the ability to wield the laws, his understanding of them was still only half-baked. With such a good opportunity presented, how could Meng Anwen let it slip by? The laws require self-comprehension, and the laws comprehended by each person are different. At this level, it was no longer like when they were in school or learning simple skills where a teacher could guide them. How far one could go depended solely on oneself. Meng Anwen had preliminarily studied the laws these past few days, but was still unable to grasp the essence. Only during his level up was he able to integrate a strand of the laws into his skills. It did greatly increase the power of his skills, far surpassing before. But to actively wield the laws and integrate them into his skills, he could not do it. Now, with the blood god disc provided by Lin Moyu, containing the laws from the god of blood, even though their paths differed, it could still serve as a reference. Meng Anwen was completely immersed in his research. As for Bai Yuan and Yen Guangxing, those two old fellows could do as they pleased. Even if they tore down the white god's courtyard, it was none of his concern. What could be more important than researching the laws? The divine summer pagoda possessed formidable teleportation abilities, even able to lock onto coordinates within the ancient battlefield. Meng Anwen clearly had the coordinates of the divine capital, instantly teleporting Lin Moyu to the vicinity. This was Lin Moyu's 3rd time coming to the divine capital. From high up in the air, the divine capital appeared square-shaped. Its sides were only about 5,000 meters long, merely a small city. In the Xinxia Empire, even some larger villages were much bigger than the divine capital. However, Lin Moyu knew its true form. It was not an ancient city at all. This was a fortress of war. Moreover, its true body was far larger than what was currently visible. When it first descended, it had greatly reduced its size, completely curled up. If it were to fully unfurl one day, restoring itself to its peak state, it would undoubtedly be a terrifying weapon of mass destruction. This time, Lin Moyu did not enter the city. After observing for a while, he flew to the edge of a cliff. The Azure Dragon Sea's waves crashed against the rocks, thundering like the rumbling of drums. The Azure Dragon Sea was not as electrifying as the Wind and Thunder Sea, nor as dazzlingly beautiful as the Starlight Sea. On the surface, the currents and waves were turbulent, but those who had ventured below said the depths were actually quite calm. Compared to the raging surface, it was like 2 different worlds. Moreover, those who had gone down reported no dangers in the Azure Dragon Sea, saying it should be safer than the Starlight Sea and Wind and Thunder Sea. Lin Moyu did not believe there were any truly safe places in the ancient battlefield.
The Kunlun great deity said that when the god of holy sound fell, she crashed through the wild continent, and her divine form also fell into the Azure Dragon Sea beneath the wild continent. But so many years have passed, and with the changing tides, her divine form must have drifted with the currents. Who knows where it has ended up? For others it's like finding a needle in a haystack, but for me it's like finding a divine form in the sea.
Lin Moyu let out a dark laugh. This task would not be easy. If it were easy, he would not have been sought out. There must still be dangers lurking beneath the Azure Dragon Sea. If there were no dangers, any random level 80 or so professional would suffice. With enough people, it wouldn't be an issue for the human race. Lin Moyu set off with caution, flying towards the distance. He did not head directly for the wild continent, but rather towards the convergence of the currents, the center of the lower realm. At the center of the four great continents of East, South, West, and North, there was an immense vortex. The ocean waters constantly swirled towards this vortex, never stopping. If it drifted, then the direction would inevitably be towards the central vortex.
I just hope it didn't enter the vortex, otherwise it would truly be impossible to find. But I only promised the Kunlun great deity that I would try my best.
Lin Moyu unleashed his full speed, advancing at 1,000 meters per second. The waves of the Azure Dragon Sea crashed against him, one after another. From afar, it looked like streaks of azure dragons leaping out of the sea surface, constantly thrashing about. This was the origin of the Azure Dragon Sea's name. Lin Moyu flew onwards, not encountering any danger. He did not see any living creatures, nor could his soul perception sense any. The areas he passed through seemed devoid of any life. Just this alone was extremely strange. Whether it was the Starlight Sea or the Wind and Thunder Sea, there were native monsters inside. But in the Azure Dragon Sea he had flown through so far, there were none. Jialan had once smashed through the icy layer of the wild continent and entered the Azure Dragon Sea from there, only to be injured by poisonous creatures. This proved that there were indeed monsters beneath the Azure Dragon Sea. So Lin Moyu could only guess that perhaps the monsters avoided the vortex. He was now less than 10,000 meters from the vortex and could already see the massive whirlpool from afar. The vortex was like a black hole, constantly sucking in the seawater surging in from all directions, its destination unknown. The moment he saw the vortex, a thought suddenly emerged in his mind.
Could the vortex be dangerous?
As soon as this thought arose, his soul issued a warning, followed by a series of shivers.
Danger!
Lin Moyu immediately stopped and rapidly retreated. Just as he was retreating, an invisible giant hand swept past where he had been, its speed like lightning. If Lin Moyu had been 0.1 seconds slower, he would have been struck by the giant hand. The giant hand could not be seen with the naked eye. Lin Moyu was only able to detect it because he had his soul force extended outwards. Lin Moyu kept retreating, only stopping after several thousand meters. His expression was not good, as his soul had just violently trembled. Although he was not struck by the giant hand, his soul had still been impacted. Extending one's soul force was like a double-edged sword. It could detect danger, but it also provided an avenue for attack. Previously, when the 9-colored dragon soul crystal was attacked, it had let out a dragon's cry, forming a protective barrier around his soul. Otherwise, the damage to his soul would have been much heavier. Now it let out another dragon's cry, spraying soul force to heal his soul. His soul had only suffered a minor impact, nothing serious. But Lin Moyu still felt a chill. The sudden attack came without the slightest warning. The attack targeted his soul, silent and unseen. If he had been slower to dodge, that palm strike would have severely wounded his soul. In that fleeting moment when the giant hand swept past, Lin Moyu sensed an immense and chaotic soul aura from it. It seemed to be composed of countless souls. The power of these souls had merged into one, able to exert tremendous force. Yet the wills of these souls were in disarray, a complete mess after combining. But despite the chaos, it was extremely powerful, something Lin Moyu could not withstand with his current strength.
No wonder there are so few records about this vortex. The records only warn that it is extremely dangerous and to never approach. Those who approached must have died, leaving no survivors, so of course there would be no information on what happened.
After waiting for a while with no further attacks, Lin Moyu noted the location where the giant hand had attacked him and cautiously approached. His soul force remained extended outwards. When he was 10,000 meters from the vortex, that sense of danger arose again. Lin Moyu immediately retreated while retracting his extended soul force. He sensed another immense soul force sweeping past in front of him, the howling wind entering his soul.
10,000 meters, this is the limit. If that giant hand has a sense of territory, then 10,000 meters from the vortex is the boundary of its territory.
Lin Moyu understood and began flying around the vortex, maintaining a distance of 11,000 meters. 648.